Chad, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Gewick. I'm gonna be real with you. You're looking at life for the murder of your friends.
It wasn't me! It was that thing in the woods!
What did you say, a 30-foot tall, fleshy tree with sirens on its head?
More or less. But the next time I saw it, it had grown. More like 40 feet or something.
Son, I'm gonna need you to be honest with me. What happened after you got back up that creek?
As I told the other officer, the night was dark. With my flashlight lost, my friends missing, and my leg in pain. All I had was the moon's light casting a bleak blanket over the woods. And I was terrified. What just happened? Was this a nightmare? Should I leave my friends and save myself? My ears were ringing from that deafening siren scream. I took a few deep breaths and decided to search for the exit. If I could get help, I would stand more of a chance in tracking the rest of them down. I started to walk in the direction of the tower. The last sighting of them. And it. I cautiously stumbled down the path towards the structure, trying to control my breathing and listening out for any sounds of movement around me. My flashlight, slightly cracked but still working. As I bent down to pick it up, I heard a branch snap behind me. It froze in place. My heart, it began to beat faster. I felt a shiver down my spine. Like something was watching me. I basically felt immobile. But I was ready to bolt it in any direction I could. I spun around and pointed my flashlight into the darkness, only for it to not turn on. I shook the flashlight in hopes that it would jolt the batteries in some way. I could hear the thing getting closer to me. I started to panic. I tried turning it on one more time. It was Jess. She was crying. I almost burst into tears just looking at her. I was so happy to see she wasn't dead. She explained she'd found a similar watchtower in the distance. Could have a radio inside, but we couldn't be sure until we got there. We both set off towards the pillar. While we walked, we discussed which way the exit could be. It was almost as if it had been lost in a sea of trees. Hopefully, the watchtower could prove useful in not only finding the exit, but also avoiding the terror that was hunting us along the way. We finally got to the tower and pressed on up the stairs. We entered the office and spotted an old radio on the side. Sounds like we're in luck. Jess turned it on and began to signal for help, but only static came back. We heard a scream in the distance. Jess and I quickly stumbled over to the railing. We looked down to see movement close by in the trees. We couldn't be sure if it was Johnny, or if it was that siren freak trying to mimic him, but we couldn't just leave them out there, even on the chance it was false. We began to descend onto the ground again and towards the noise. The screaming stopped, and I had a sickening feeling in my gut again. Like my heart had tried to regurgitate itself and got stuck in my throat. My ears were pounding, my head was feeling dizzy. We peered through the bushes to find the worst sight I'd ever seen.
Mr. Gewick, I need you to describe to me what you saw.
I can't.
What did you see, Chad?
That's so much blood. Flesh everywhere. It tore my friends to shreds. Why? Poor Johnny. Poor Lisa. We didn't even get time to gather our thoughts. Jess stood there in terror once again, looking up. This time, I knew what she'd seen. I looked up for just a second, and there it was, watching, with no eyes. Jess told me to make it to the tower. She shouted at the thing and ran off into the forest. It let out a scream and bolted through the trees at her. I hobbled over as fast as I could to the tower, my eyes watering, lips numb from the terror. I couldn't hear anything from the blood rushing to my ears. I'm surprised I could even use my legs. My mind had one goal: get to the tower. I managed to get into a rhythm using the lock to propel me forward, putting less pressure on my leg. All of a sudden, the freak came plowing through the trees, swiping at me. Luckily, it narrowly missed me and lost its footing, giving me a chance to get around it and escape its grasp. Jess met me on the stairs, and we started to ascend. It arose from the ground and began to haul after us, clawing for our flesh. Jess pushed me up the stairs, helping me climb quicker. The static freak swung at the structure, slicing away part of the stairs we were on. Jess almost fell through, but I was able to grab her, and we continued upwards. We began to get closer away from the thing and bolted it into the room, closing the door behind us.
Please, can anyone hear us? We need assistance at Tanyard Creek, please.
Once again, no response. We could hear footsteps from the ground outside. And then, silence. Then, a hand came crashing through the building. Its long, wired claws outstretched towards us, snatching Jessica and pulling her through the entrance that it had made. It all happened so fast. I can still remember her scream. I couldn't save her. And just like that, it was gone. Silence once again filled the air. This time it felt even more dark. A slight wind rushed through the building. I could barely see from the amount of adrenaline pumped through my system. I curled into a ball and broke down. Morning came. And that's when the radio started to receive our signal. What happened this night I will never forget. The horrors of my friends perishing, the lives they could have led, never to smile or be happy again. Taken from the world by something that can't be explained. What was it? How and why did it get here? What other things are out there? I have so many questions that I'll probably never get the answer to, and so many more that I don't know if I ever want the answer to. I feel like such a coward and helpless that I couldn't help them, and that's something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life.